Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio. We are brought to you by championnews.net. Be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter at championnews.net. You'll get all the latest that's going on. This is Carol Parisi. Our founder, Jack Roser, and myself have our very special friend, guest, champion, Tea Party Grassroots Leadership Award winner, Claire Van Horn. And before the break, Claire, we were talking about what went wrong this past cycle. And you mentioned voter fraud. And I know you are with an organization, a national organization called True the Vote. And you did a lot of poll watching and things like that within your community. What are you hearing from True the Vote with voter fraud that went on during this election cycle? Why Barack Obama perhaps stole this election from the American people?
Well, because I don't think he could have won it legitimately. It had to be stolen. And I think that even if we are in a situation where we're beginning to feel that a lot of our people are voting for entitlements rather than person, and that whole entitlement society is overcoming our nation, I think that without the manufacture of votes, that he still wouldn't have won. And I saw that in a very painful way in Florida, not only with his election, but also with Allen West, where there were, in St. Lucie County, for instance, there were like double the amount of actual ballots than there were of registered voters.
Wait a minute.
And those didn't get thrown out. It's like,
wait a minute. There's double the amount of cast ballots than there are registered voters.
Right. Exactly.
And that didn't put up a red flag.
And he tried to fight it, and he got no help. And
why? From the Republican Party?
From the Republican Party, from the courts, we have a lot of levels of issues here where we could fight all we want, but the powers that be, we have no place to go with our concerns and our work and our efforts to try to make things right again, to try to make things better again.
I digress. I think I differ with you.
I hope so.
Do you think being a local grassroots leader, you've tried to reach out to your community. Let's go to this 47% of entitlements. How much of that percentage do you really feel want to be on entitlements? Oh,
I think that there's a lot of people who would really prefer not to be.
But
who
do you think
would really
they not know
like
better?
to be able to? Well, there's there's a break in education where people aren't really aware of what they can do. Okay, they don't understand where they can really go.
They don't understand their potential, and only in this country can you take that and implement that potential and become someone like you.
The Republican Party here in Illinois has been kind of blown away by the last election for governor. It just doesn't exist. Right. And it was not organized properly. You shouldn't have the Senate, for instance, having an SRO, Senate Republican organization, to elect its own members. What in Tunket is that? However the thing is organized to bring money in and volunteers and stuff should be separate from the legislative council itself. And that's what we're trying to bring forth in the Champion News and Champion Renaissance, is to bring effective fighting force into being. Well, how do you do that? First of all, you got to realize you got a problem, and you've got to use the technical stuff to get this finely sliced and diced thing, so you know where the people are that you should be influencing with an argument that's going to appeal to them. So that's fine.
Basic marketing 101.
Get their head started a little bit better.
Yeah.
But in the end, as has been found out by this big national organization, is that the ground game is 3 times more important than the technical game. As important as both of them are, there's nothing quite like meeting people and talking to them about it. It isn't the same as a telephone call, which most young people don't even have a phone.
It's knocking on your door and looking somebody in the eyeball and talking to them as another human being. It's that personal touch.
Of course, and that's what I'm telling you about it, is we're organizing to do that with the Republican Renaissance and with Champion News. And what we're trying to do there is get people to realize that they got to use a technical thing, they got to get in the street and push it. And our big hope, of course, is the Tea Party people who are out there talking to each other. The techniques have to be developed, and how we do that. For instance, we can make a tape here in this studio about some political issue that could be of interest. It might be the schools themselves, which blot up a lot of our money. We could make up a 7-minute disc that a Tea Party person could, in their block, put it in their computer or DVD, and invite 10 neighbors over. Now, there should be a lot of that.
People don't do that anymore, though. People are people do not engage in neighborhoods anymore.
The whole thing was we got to change that stupid attitude and get down to a real attitude to handle a real problem. And you're going to do that through Tea Party people who are motivated by morals and by a real system behind them. That's what keeps you on track. You got principles. And these other people are just reacting to situations and trying to make it to their own profit. The Tea Party people is a foundation. We got to build on it. And in this coming election 2 years from now, we have to get people to run for school boards.
That's coming a few months from now. You know what? We're going to talk more about that after the break. We'll be right back.